Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shemi Al Shai Barakatah. All praises unto Yahweh Shemi Al Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I'm going to do just a quick video here dealing with just how much money is in circulation. And what you're going to find out is pretty much you're already in a system of what's known as a cashless society. You might have, you might say that's not true. But if we say this is a wicked society, for instance, as an example, that doesn't mean to say no amount of good is done. It means to say that there's a lot more wickedness happening than there is good. Okay, for instance, Esau is wicked. He's evil. Okay, he's the harbinger of death. All right, but that doesn't mean to say once in 10 years, he won't do something that could be considered as good. And the same thing applies for this economy that you're living in right now. And people may have, £10 within their pocket, £100 within their pocket. But the vast majority of transactions, the vast majority of money that's traded or used to buy goods is digital. So you're already in a cashless society. Okay, we're already in a cashless society. So I just wanted to bring out a few points on that statement. This first article is going to go into the fact that how money is untraceable at the minute. You don't really have to you don't really have to trade. Money really can't be traced as in terms of cash. Okay, but ultimately we know these elite bankers, they want those transactions to be traced. Okay, so as you see the rise of these so-called alternative currencies that are untraceable. So what I mean to say by that is this: when you have cash, okay, when you have money, you can pay for goods outside of the system, okay? But when you have it to where the banks are pushing a digitized means of transacting, okay, then you have a problem of that being traced back to you, okay? The same can be seen through money laundering and so on and so forth. So now you got it to where the resurgence of cash and the the thing of it of not being able to be traced, okay, is being seen with these so-called alternative digital currencies. Bitcoin being one of them. Okay, you can use it like cash in that you're not gonna have no traceability back to the person that purchased whatever they're purchasing. Okay, but there's gonna be countermeasures to that. Okay, and that's gonna all end up in the chip. So let me see if I can find the exact place I wanted to be on with regards to this. Okay, so excuse me, this is not really put together over a long period of time. I just put these things together from some ideas that I come up with, and it's not always as best planned. And but Lord's will, it's going to be still of edification. Okay, so let's see, where is it? Where's the statement they made? Is that where it was? I don't think that's it. There we go. All right. So the truth about money and the death of cash. That's why I couldn't find it. So in this first bit here, they basically go into a scenario and they're basically saying, the death to money and all of that in 60 years, and we ain't gonna be out here for in 60 years. So it says physical money has been around for thousands of years. Okay, cash is essentially untraceable. That's the bit I was talking about a little bit earlier on, and it's easy to carry. It's widely accepted and it is reliable. Okay, that's why you got the rise of these alternative digitized currencies, because when you're moving ever larger sums of money within this kingdom right now, you do it digitally. Okay, whether you're paying for rent, car notes, or whatever, taxes, whatever. No one really pays for anything via cash. Okay, and what I mean by via cash is you go to the bank and you take money, as in the actual tangible money for it. You do a digital transaction. Okay, but that's traceable. That's why you got it to where people are going towards the Bitcoin, etc., etc. Right? It says if the power goes out, and then there's a blip in the electronic system that makes the online commerce will go to ground. Okay, cash is there. And said if someone wants to buy something without anybody tracing it back to back to her, right? Cash is the way. I don't know why it just says her, because that's strange. So I'm suspecting this was written by a woman. Okay, so it says someone wants to be certain that their form of payment is accepted. Cash is the best bet. So that's what they're saying. So it says simply no alternative system of payment that is as convenient, reliable, and anonymous. Bitcoin is anonymous but currently unstable and inconvenient. Okay, credit cards are widely accepted, etc., etc. Okay, so that was the premise I was going into, and you're seeing how they're seeing some of the alternatives in there. But really, the point I was looking for was just how much money is actually in circulation as physical cash. And from this article, you're gonna see that we really are in what was known as a digital cashless society, as in the vast majority of transactions that happen are cashless. Okay, so let's carry on with this. So it says how currency works. It says since money is merely just a representation of value, it didn't take people long to realize that they could just send the information about money by telegraph or other electronic means, and it was just as real as sending the money itself. So after World War II, right, banks would record information about the day's transaction onto large magnetic reels, right, which were taken to the regional Federal Reserve Bank. This system eliminated the need for large denominations that were printed prior to the war to facilitate the large-scale transfers. Okay, today the 500. What I mean by denominations, they're talking about bills. So if you're doing £1 million transaction, you're not going to do all of that at once. Okay, you're going to do it by the largest denomination, which is going to be like $10,000 bills. So it says today the 500, the 1,000, the 5,000, and the 10,000 bills printed during this period are very rare, though are still in circulation. Okay, so it says later wire connections were established between the banks, so transfers could be sent directly. And large denomination of bills or the lack thereof is an indicator that you're in a cashless society. Okay, that means to say the more 50s you have, the more transactions that are happening, okay, via cash. Okay, because you're gonna have to have a lot more 50s to make large cash transactions, because the smaller denominations is just gonna be it's not gonna work, man. Okay, it will be too impractical. Okay, so let's go into this now. So it says by the early 1990s, all transfers between banks and the Federal Reserves were done electronically. There are three other important steps in the history of electronic money. Okay. All right, so they go into lists of little bits and pieces in there. You can check that out for yourself. The main thing I wanted to go here was in point 3. So it says the growing worldwide acceptance of the internet has made electronic currency more important than ever. Purchases can be made through a website with funds drawn out of an internet bank account. Your PayPal's, etc., etc. Okay, where money was originally deposited electronically. So you deposit money to your PayPal. Okay, from your bank account, right? You deposit that electronically. No cashiers had to move any funds from this place, and nobody does that anymore. It says that people's earnings, your wage. Okay, I don't know how other systems work in other countries, but out here they've got a company that does it. Okay, so the company, the business will have money deposited in the business bank. Via whatever, whether it be sales, so they get the sales money and then it gets deposited within the bank, and then subsequently the company deposit that in a what's known as another company that's gonna deposit it in each employee's account. Okay, so it's all digital. Okay, people are earning and spending without ever touching it. So you go through thousands and thousands of pounds, Okay, you might only see, and they're gonna tell you here 8%. So it says, in fact, economists estimate that only 8% of the world's currency exists as physical cash. Right, the rest are on computer hard drives in electronic banks and the world around. So that's 8%. So we're already in a digital we're already in a digital what you know as a digital market. Okay, you got it to where you got crooks and that they'll do the money laundering, but you know you can only be so smart. So then now they're favoring the Bitcoin, and then the rise of the preference of Bitcoin because it's untraceable is going to lead to you know, the bank saying, look, we need to trace all of these funds. So we're gonna have the same thing that we're doing now, but a better system for that. Okay, and that better system for that, where it's completely cashless, is gonna be that chip, man, which is spoken about within the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 6th verse. So pretty much with that, hopefully that was of edification, and hopefully you know you know that was useful. I say double honors the apostles of great. I'll say all praise unto Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. Double honors the apostles of great millstone, and honestly brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.